Repealing it with no plan in place, they say, will create chaos in the insurance market and catastrophe at hospitals and clinics. But Hamper says the law has already done enough damage.
This isn't working. So if Donald Trump says he wants to reinstate a free marketplace where we have more choices, more competition, better care, more affordability, okay. And like every other American, we have to hope that that's what we get.
Senator Grassley says it's too soon to lay out what comes next.
Obviously, repeal is very much what's going to happen. Whether it's a transition period, that it takes a period of time to get a total replacement, or whether it's done incrementally, those decisions have not been made at this point.
Whatever the outcome, many observers say President Obama's legacy will forever include his ambitious attempt to solve one of the nation's most intractable problems.
I think forever we've changed the conversation that we need to have an approach to cover all Americans. And if nothing else, this law now leads Republicans to agree that we need to have an approach to cover all Americans with high-quality insurance. So I think that's a real accomplishment, and that wouldn't have happened without this law.
Some of the most gifted presidents in the 20th century tried comprehensive health care reform, and they failed. President Obama succeeded. This is not a footnote in history. It will go down as a landmark.
And one of the most important legacies of the Obama years. For the PBS NewsHour and Kaiser Health News, I'm Sarah Varney.
Tomorrow, we continue our series on the Obama years with a look at the president's efforts to reform the nation's criminal justice system. Iraqi government forces are today engaged in heavy fighting against ISIS militants in the city of Mosul, battling neighborhood by neighborhood. Since the operation began last October, almost 130,000 of the city's million-plus residents have fled. Many are living in nearby camps for internally displaced people in Iraqi Kurdistan. Half of them are children. For 2.5 years, all they have known is ISIS. Now they and their families are stranded, waiting out a long, cold winter. From northern Iraq, special correspondent Marcia Biggs and videographer Eric O'Connor report.
It's a scene of utter chaos. News of food arriving sends these civilians displaced by the battle for Mosul into a frenzy, charging this truck as desperate hands reach out to catch bread and water tossed to a mob of hungry people. These camps were supposed to be a temporary solution, yet families here are facing what now promises to be a very long winter. It's painfully cold, down to freezing temperatures at night. Toxic fumes from the gas stoves and heaters permeate the tents. Yet in this corner of the camp, we found a reason to smile. These are sounds most of these children have not made in almost 2.5 years. Every day the children clamor at the gates of this child-friendly space. They get a precious 6 hours per week here to play, sing, and learn. A far cry from the horrors of ISIS. We sat down with a few students in the drawing tent. Like most children, 13-year-old Zuha stopped going to school when ISIS came to Mosul and missed out on things like drawing. Now she draws her memories of home.
We had a garden, so I draw flowers.
12-year-old Bashada did stay in school under ISIS, which used militarization and indoctrination as part of its lesson plans. In these pages of a math book, children are asked to solve problems about setting landmines and killing non-believers.
After ISIS came, I stayed in school for 1.5 years. Everything changed. In math, the curriculum changed. They used bullets, like one bullet